Hello, hello. Welcome to the channel today. Good to see you. Good morning, Adam. Eric, welcome. So today I'm both like elated and a little annoyed with myself today, if I'm allowed to be. Good to see everybody. I bought S3 on NQ, and then when it came back through the 20, because it didn't quite hit the way I wanted to, I went ahead and took the trade and made like $500 or $600 on the position, and now it really looks like it's buying the high, and we might actually get a break on this thing. But I'm just not in it. I had a nice day. I made some good money today. I also had a really nice short on my small account today from the pre-market. So I'm really happy overall, but also a little bummed because I feel like I should be in this S3 buy right now holding, but I'm not. And I'm not going to get back in or take any more trades today. So it is what it is. But good to see everybody. Welcome back. Um, Toby, Adrian, Bruz is in the house. Good to see you, sir. Corey, as always, good to see you, my friend. Benjamin, welcome. Please, always make sure to give your thumbs up when you come in, just as a little, if you could just do me the favor, when you pop in, if you could just throw a little thumbs up on that bad boy, just to make sure that we're all doing our stuff. I'll make sure to keep bringing you amazing quality content the best that I can if you continue to show up and thumbs up. That's all I'm going to ask for is a show up and a thumbs up. A little bit of what's on the dock. So we are starting to work on some webinars for everybody, which I think you're going to really enjoy for everyone out there in YouTube. It's going to be we're going to repurpose some of our ones that we already have, and then we're going to start making some new ones. So, which I think you're really going to enjoy. So, those are going to be they're going to be like hour-long webinars, but we're going to release them in like 8-minute clips. So it should be some really nice digestible content for everybody. So stay tuned to the channel over the next couple of weeks. I would be expecting like some really like fun content, stuff you would normally pay, top dollar for. You're going to be coming in here. So, yeah. 20 EMA settings. Of course, I use a very special, uh, or at least a special to me, 20 EMA. And that 20 EMA is a volume weighted moving average. So I don't use oh, actually, this is supposed to be right here. I don't think it changes it much. So you can see here, I like to use the high-low close divided by 3 calc. And then I like using the volume weighted one that's weighted with a 14 length volume weight. That's my preferred one. So it's a little bit different. So like if you use like a standard 20 EMA, it'll look something more like this, the blue one. So it just changes it a little bit and it makes it flow a little bit better. And so for me, because I'm not the world's greatest trend line drawer, I call this the poor man's trend line, right? So that for me, like right now on NQ, we are not trending, right? And you can tell that because the 20 is basically flat, right? So there's no trend playing going on right now. This is just chopping, right? Which happens. Our S3 long is still a potential candidate, but we got so close to it, and this is where I went long. And then when it broke away and then came back through the 20, I went ahead and cut it because I made a few hundred on it and was pretty happy. But after that, the reason I wasn't liking it so much is because we had monthly S4, and monthly S4 was cutting right through the middle of it, and we kept reacting to monthly S4 over and over and over again from the bottom side. I just wasn't into this push and pull here, and I couldn't really make up my mind about what I wanted to do with it, so I just decided abstention. Whenever I don't have a really clear picture of how I wanna play, I just won't. You know what I mean? So I think for in queue for me, I'm probably just gonna, like, stay off of it for the rest of the day. So I don't think it's gonna go much of anywhere today. If it does go into a rally to the top side, I would say we could go as high as right here. We have R3, ATR high, yesterday's high. I mean, if we go into a rally, I'd say aim for right about there. That seems like a really reasonable place. Hey, wow, look at you people. 6 minutes into the broadcast, and we're already at 118 concurrents, but 66 likes? Come on, people. Help me out here. Subscribe, please, and then share if you can. Love you. You're awesome. So, oh, speaking of sharing, one second. Let me do this real quick. I forgot to share it on my Twitter. Oh, all right. Thank you so much. Okay, so while I'm placating you all, because that's what I do. The TV indicator, it's not it's just the volume weighted moving average by a TV. It's not like a an expensive one. Um, I really appreciate everybody for coming here and being a part of this. I'm really excited just to kind of give everybody a status update to the mission, right? We are trying to grow a new, not I wouldn't say a new trading community because Alchemist has been kind of growing organically on its own, but we are working to expand and really change the way retail trading is done. And I really appreciate like all of you being, a part of the ground floor of what I personally believe, and as I would, because it's my channel, but as I personally believe is the start of like a paradigm shift in the way the retail traders trade. And I think this is a really important shift to make because with single stock equity futures coming out and all of these other things, I believe trading futures and trade and retail trading them using a CAM system is going to allow many people to make a pretty solid amount of money without having to put a ton of risk, have a giant account, and all of these different things. So I'm really hoping over the next year, I'm really going to be leading Alchemist. Hello, good to see you. Custom fishing lure molds. That's dope. I love fishing. So, so we're gonna work on building like insanely high quality content for you. Market Alchemists has, as far as I know, the only PhD neuroscientist, who is versed in cognitive behavioral therapy and other things, who is also a trader, who can help and does that, Dr. V every single morning in our small group or in our group in the mornings, for an hour, getting us like today we had this really lovely like meditation going into the day. Came in super focused. So so for me, I don't think we're along today. So this is the other issue I've been having. Like I liked buying off of S3 or near S3, but I really don't feel like today's a long. And let me start off with talking about that. It's a little bit of VPA talk here. So here's kind of what I mean. If we're going to break up, right, then we're going to accumulate. When you accumulate, do you question for all my more seasoned traders out there just to spawn some interaction? If we're accumulating, do we accumulate low or do we accumulate high? What do you think? You're looking for a trick question here, and I assure you there isn't one. It's exactly what you think it is, right? We accumulate low, right? Because we're gonna buy, and we want to buy low, right? Hi, good job, Dan. So now, if you look at the buy volume, whenever you're seeing large candles on the buy side, those candles are very high. They're very high up in this range. Like they're way up here. So normally if you're going to buy, you'd be buying from down here. But the major volume came from up here. So it seems to me like when I'm reading the chart like there's a large order, and that large order it's probably what stalled us on this opening advance. There's probably a large order sitting right here, right at yesterday's low. So, and we're buying up into that order over and over and over again, and that's basically all today has been, is just working into this order. But if we buy this order, it's reasonable to think we would go to CP and then maybe even to R3. So I'm a little bummed that I'm not still in this one because I did long. I longed right here, but then I cut here for a small win. I just hated that we were underneath monthly support 4. I didn't like that alignment. It bothered me. So I went ahead and got rid of it. But in hindsight, I'm wishing I had hung on to it. But oh well, I'll mark that in there. I won't let monthly support 4 keep me out if I'm long on an intraday trade. I kind of had a question about that today. I think I just got my answer. So yeah. I do not use Atlas heat map for futures at all. And the main reason being why is Atlas doesn't have most of them so that we relevantly trade. Atlas has ES and NQ, which work fairly well. RTY is okay, but they don't have YN, or maybe they have YN, but they don't have RTY. I forget. And then they don't have any of the commodities features like oil or gold or silver or any of those. So Atlas isn't really viable for using it for futures trading right now until it advances a little further. I like the way it displays the futures it shows, though, for the record. Also, its lack of historical data, but I do like Atlas though. Um, actually, why didn't MYM alert? It opened really low. So it's actually a really nice trade. It just opened really low. But otherwise, I really like MYM actually. That's really pretty. A beautiful wick, lovely buy response. And then offered and stayed on the buy side, crossed the 20 and then started buying. I mean, that's really pretty. I like it. Yeah, I can show the small trade. So this one was a trade I took in pre-market. So we were selling off of the CP in the pre-market pretty obviously. And since we were a wider ranged, I planned on buying S3. So I figured I short the CP for a trip to S3. So when we pulled back and lost the 20, I shorted. And then I just decided if we regained the 20, I was going to get out. Right at the open, we kind of bought a little bit. I gave it a second and I put my stop right behind this right here. I threw my stop there and then it went and sold the lows. Once it bounced and it came back through the 20, I exited at the cross of the 20, which was a great decision. If this had gotten a little lower, I really wanted that buy. Yeah, I can talk about the BSD. Yeah, so the opening position matters because the opening sweep is important. And it gives us a chance to see it go down. This is normally when it opens like this, it's too close. So you just don't get a good chance to observe it, and it's too tricky of a trade to enter. But in this instance, it was really good. So let's talk let's talk buying and selling detector. All right. So the buying and selling detector is a really interesting tool. So thank you very much, by the way. We just hit 100 likes. Thank you so much for everyone who's liked already. For anyone who hasn't, I'm not saying they're better, but whatever. But thank you so much. And then also 162 concurrents right now. That's amazing. Why does it happen? I say thank you very much. And as soon as I do that, like 10 people drop away. Just kidding. It's all the bots. It's all the people who are here spying on the channel and reporting it to other people. Ha ha ha. No, thank you very much for that. I really appreciate everybody coming by. My goal for, and then I'll talk about the BSD. My goal for the channel is right now I'm on the road to 1,000. Right, so I think we're getting close to 500 subscribers. So please make sure you subscribe and tell your trading buddies and stuff to come check me out. Because this is, we're going to try and get up to, I'm starting with 1,000, and then we'll see where we can go. Not for nothing. I mean, there are people out there like posting the most ridiculous content I've ever seen in my life, and they're getting followed with like 10,000 likes on their videos and stuff. So I don't know, like, I mean, I literally every single morning type on my X exactly what I expect the market to do for the entire day, and I can't get it's so wild. But yeah, thank you. I mean, thank you, and I appreciate the luck. Just come by and hang. You know what I mean? That's all I ask. Just come hang with me. So might see it with an alert. So cool, cool, cool. So yeah, so we're that's kind of the goal here, right? And then as we're building the content, then I'm going to look at trying to add more for the YouTube. We're really going to start working on the channel. I don't know a ton about YouTube and production, so I'm going to be working on, I mean, I've already read 2 books on YouTube, so I'm learning, right? So we'll do that, and then we'll work on growing this thing. It should be fun. But thank you so much. All right, so you all kind of know what the mission is, right? I'm training for 4 years, and I appreciate. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Samuel. So let's talk about the buying and selling detector. So the buying and selling detector is a the new generation is about P&Ls, right? Yeah. So Husky, I don't care. I'm not gonna. I mean, I could post my P&Ls, like on the small trade I took today. I mean, like, so I guess this is the P&L I'll post that I think should impress you. You ready for a P&L that I think is worth impressing somebody with? Hey, Rogelio, how are you, my friend? This is the one that I think's impressive. My big account's fun. Nice, you long Netflix. Good for you. My big account's fun. Like, I like posting the 9K trades like I posted last week, but this is the one that I think impresses the most. Right? So here you have an account. This is my small account challenge. Here you have an account that its net liquidation is 5.5 grand. And today on that account with one contract, so about $2 in commissions, one in, one out. Anybody want to run the math on what percentage that is of the account? It's pretty reasonable, right? Hey, thank you so much, Oz. I really appreciate that. It's a couple percent, right? 2 to 3%, somewhere like that, right? I'm not so great at math, somewhere in there. You can downgrade to 2%, I don't care. This is what I think is really should be the most impressive, right? Is that with a relatively small account, you could make 2% to 2.5% in a day. That's insane. How much value is this if this is a $5 million account? You know what I mean? It's a lot, right? It's great return. Absolutely great return. Anyway, I'll show you that one. I just want because I think there's probably more of you in here that are trading $5,000 accounts than there are that are trading $5 million accounts. I have a feeling if you're trading a $5 million account, you're probably not coming to this channel, right? You know what I mean? So, I mean, maybe you've got 50, maybe you got 100 or something like that. But if you got 5 million, you're not coming here. You know what I mean? You're out a different channel. You're doing something. So you're not out of channel. You know what I mean? You've got $5 million. You probably just hire me directly, right? I have people who I work with that have $5 million accounts. They just don't come to the YouTube channel. I get an email from them and they say, "Hey, I'd like to book you for a week to teach me how to trade." And then like I work with them like every day for a couple hours a day for an entire week and basically run them through the basics of it all, right? Like it's just totally different, right? So, but being able to have like just like so many, right? So many of us have these like massively unreasonable expectations for how much money we're going to make. Like if you think you're going to make more than 2% or 3% on an account, uh, it's a lovely thought. I just wouldn't expect it. It's a fortune. 2% or 3% is a fortune. So, anyway, so back to the buying and selling detector. So, I think 1% is really what you should be expecting at most. So, but I mean, 1% of $100,000 is a lot of money. 1% of 200, a million. It's perspective, right? So, I'm so happy to have you all here. Thank you again. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for everyone who's watching and hanging out with me. I am going to do a drawing this week. A day. I think a day, 1%. I'm going to do a drawing. I think I'm going to do it on Friday, but maybe it'll be Thursday. It could even be tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure because I want to make sure you come every day. But it'll be on one of those days, and I'm gonna do a drawing for, 1 hour or a one block session, for mentoring with me. So it'll be really fun. So it'll be yeah, mentorship giveaway. It's the only thing I'm ever gonna give away, is just mentorship. Like, I'm not gonna give away books, like, no, that's silly. You can buy books off of Amazon. I'm just gonna give away my time. Yep. Dr. V will be here on Wednesdays, starting. I think it'll be in May. She's got some busy stuff to wrap up, but I believe it'll be May. She'll be here regularly, more and on Wednesdays and stuff. So that should be a lot of fun. Very excited about that. So mentorship giveaway will be sometime this week. Okay, so BSD, buying and selling detector time, right? So we are trending this bad boy right now. This is fun. So let's talk about the buying and selling detector. Okay. The buying and selling detector is one of our many custom indicators that we have at Market Alchemists. One of the things that is very important at Market Alchemists is we do not want to be relying on other platforms and other platforms' coded indicators. And the reason being just the reality that we're not really sure if those indicators will stay the same, perform the same way, and we like to be able to actually modify it. One of the reasons we settled in on TradingView as an application is because to it allowed us to control the deployment and the quality of the indicator. Right, there are many people out there who have produced a very similar indicator, and it on other platforms, but this is the only indicator that I recommend. I'm sure the other ones probably have some efficacy and they work because many of them are based on my book and they're based on what I do. But if it's not the one that Bruz coded and that has my settings specifically, I really just don't recommend using, this is the good one. Right. Also, you have my settings in there. So, of the suite of indicators I was talking about is the buying and selling detector. Now, the buying of all the indicators that I've actually created, I feel like the buying and selling detector is actually my legacy item. Like the one that I feel really, really good about that like, wow, I can't believe I created this because the buying and selling detector is basically the answer to is it? Right? Is it buying or is it selling? The BS detector, right? So it can now the BS detector is a volume weighted tick instrument. So what it does is it takes the amount of uptick and the amount of downtick in the market. It weighs that against the volume and then comes up with a calculation, right? That kind of, but it's not like RSI. It's not about relative strength or all this thing. It's a tick indicator. It's old school, but it's weighing with volume, which is new school, right? Now the weighing with volume, that's the secret sauce, right? I invented it, literally invented it. Little backstory: I'm out for a run. As I'm out for a run, this pops into my head. Right. I get back home. I actually talked it over with my buddy Nathan. I called it and talked it over with my developer Bruz. And then I sat down and recorded like a 1 hour video of what I thought it would do and how it would work. And then like a month later, it's born. Right. Bruz codes it up. Right, the buying and selling detector is it well, so this is so I'm a massive Anna Cooling fan, Dip. I love Anna Cooling. I contribute Anna Cooling with a lot of my earlier success in trading. Volume and price analysis for me was the cheat code, right? The buying and selling detector is a VPA tool, right? It weighs tick, right? So right now, when you're looking at the buying and selling detector, it looks like basically a sheet music, like a stav of music. So, and it has the rolling indicator in it here, and this rolling line, right, basically is just telling you the imbalance of uptick versus downtick in that moment. Are we buying or are we selling? Right. So when you're looking at this, it breaks up into areas. Everywhere in the lower half is selling. Everything in the top half is buying. So if you're above the zero, it's buying. If you're below the zero, it's selling. Right, and you can use that information, right? Right, you can use this information in a whole lot of different ways, right? So, but what you can see here, right, it is at the beginning. Now, each one of these areas break into a higher level of the thing. So whenever you're in the middle, we consider this to be light. As you move away, we consider this to be, I like to call it healthy, like, but you could call it normal. Steady. Actually, I think steady was the word that someone said that I really liked. Light, steady, heavy, and exhaustive. right? When you get exhaustive volume, this is when you're going to expect some kind of a pullback or some kind of a reversal or something will occur after these exhaustive moments. Right? So, but just because you have exhaustive buying does not mean that you're going to immediately start selling either, right? So you can actually see here we had this really big buy. A lot of you would be really excited and would like immediately start buying right there. But if you're looking at the buying and selling detector, you would notice we've exhausted, right? So you actually wait, and sure enough, it pulls back and gives you a really good opportunity, right, to buy this much, much lower. But as we've pushed, right, notice as we've pushed higher, our volume has actually declined, right? So for all of the volume we've had, this did in fact exhaust us, right? And now we're offering higher. As we're offering higher, we're offering higher on lower volume, right? Now we've rolled over and started pushing down, and look, this has moved us. This was a lot of downtick here, right? And it actually took us back to the area of what we consider to be light buying. If we move much lower than this, right, we will have more downtick than uptick in the last 14 minutes overall, and that's or our last 14 candles, and that's going to shift us into what we would consider to be a more distributionary phase. It works on every time frame. It just weighs tick, right? So in a very special way, right? I have my own formula that I've created for how we weigh tick. It's kind of like card counting and volume and price analysis had a baby. Watching Thor for years, I always saw his special sauce's VPA reading. He's on another level. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the idea, Toby. It's yep. This is my indicator, though. I quite literally invented it. Not that it's I'm sure I'm not the first person to come up with the concept. I'm just saying I invented this particular one and the way it's calculated. Give me 1 second. I have a knock on my door. I will be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry, no volume. I'm so happy. Only lost like a handful of you when that happened. Sorry, I had to knock the door. So anyway, I'm so glad you like the cams. So if you're interested in more and learning about the cams, again, every single day from 11 to 12, we can do this cam thing right here. I'll teach you everything that I know about everything in the market. One of the I think the things that I hope you will get from this channel that you're not getting from very many other channels out there is like some real honest perspective and what's possible. I'm not here to sell the hype, you know what I mean? Or to try and like get everyone all like super excited about like the glitz and the glamour. I really think trading is amazing. Like and the money side of it is quite possible. One of my mentees For instance, I mean, I think he made like 6 figures this week, so I mean, it's and I don't really advertise a lot of that because it's not really the way I'm looking to get out in the market. I suppose maybe I should do more of it just because it seems to get so much attention. But it's I just kinda want you to see the good trading behavior and just kind of take it for that. Exactly. I'll show you my Jeep. It's just I have so many of my mentees that are working with me inside of Alchemists that are just crushing right now. It's amazing. So, and that's where I'm kind of hoping. How does working for a Discord like BBO. So that's an interesting question. Okay. So how does working for a Discord or like a chat like BBT or Warrior Trading work? I assume it's like sales and commission based. So no, not at all, user. I won't talk too much about the actual dollar amounts because I think that would be inappropriate. But I am happy to give you some insight though into the concepts. So when you work for a trading community, you really don't make money working for the trading community, right? That's not really where you get money from. You get money from if you're a good moderator and you know how to make money, like you'll make a little bit of money doing content, like maybe like a grand a month or 500 a month or maybe a couple grand once you get really, doing really well. The real place you make money is in mentoring, right? Doing what I'm doing with you right now, actually. People pay me good money to mentor them. And so being in a trading community and being a moderator in a trading community gives you access to individuals that you can attempt to mentor, right? And I think that's generically where most people that work in those arenas tend to get their money from if it's good money. You're gonna get like a few $100 here or there, but, I mean, it really doesn't make sense, you know what I mean? Like, one of the things I don't like to have the idea of is, like, having people that are in your mentoring community that don't actually make money trading, like, that are actually mentoring and, like, moderating and teaching, you know what I mean? There are people running, you know, boot camps and all these big, events and that are teaching people how to trade, teaching them how to make their trade books, but these people don't trade. Like they don't actually make money trading. They make all their money from the educational side entirely without actually being capable of the trading itself. And there's many out there like that, and I may have to be a little bit more vocal about some of them, because I see it happen a lot. But like it really happens a lot in the main thing that happens in the most places in the and I'm going to use a very specific word here, the mindfulness arena, psychology, right? There are so many books that are written on trading psychology right now. And I'm sorry, if you don't have a PhD in psychology or neuroscience or something related, you should not be using that word, right? You should be using the word mindfulness or coaching or something like that. But there's so many of these psychology books out there that are taught by these performance coaches and psychologists, and they admittedly cannot trade and they admittedly like could not get their PhDs, right? So you've got a lot of people who are teaching you to trade who can't trade with performance coaches that can't perform, right? And it's just like, okay, like, wow. Right. So, and then kind of like in that whole scenario, then you have Dr. V and myself, right? I've been trading for quite a while. Right. Dr. V, I'm seasoned, I'm retail, I've traded every level of account from 500 to 500,000 at this point, basically. Right. And then you have Dr. V, who I'm pretty sure she's the unicorn. I'm sorry, like, I'm sorry, not sorry. But Eric, yeah, yeah, they do, right? So, and it's I've never met another trader like Dr. V. She is a trader. She's a technician. She's a trend trader. She absolutely crushes, right? And she has a PhD in neurobiology, right? She is a she is getting licensed to she is licensed to practice cognitive behavioral therapy in Liège, right? She's getting licensed in Canada right now where she currently lives. You know what I mean? Like a real PhD, like who actually trades. Can you imagine going to a performance coach who doesn't know how to trade? What if your issue is not a performance issue, right? If your stops are too tight, no one can be a good performer. Your stops are too tight. So you're going to be sitting in there on the little couch like, oh man, I don't know. I'm just having so much trouble like holding on to my stops because I'm always getting my stops triggered all the time. And then the coach is going to go, "Oh yeah, well let's unpack how you feel about this, and let's talk about all the this and the that and the this and the that." And the issue is a technical problem. Like your stops are too tight. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, I just think that's why, soapbox aside, I just think that's why this Alchemist thing, like, I'm really hoping y'all come back and y'all hang, because I think what you're really gonna like is the growth and the content we make here. It's gonna be content that's gonna be future, like the real future, like of trading, like ways that retail traders can actually make money. Because honestly, like I could never I think we're in a spot where we could be looking for a short now in the market, at least on like MYM and Qs. Just a quick side note, we've just gotten quite extended from, we're starting to get a bit extended from VWAP now. So I do think like, there's a chance we could offer back. Look at how this came right back into there. I mean, it's so fun. But anyway, just kind of keep that in mind. I think I think we're also a bit bearish in the latter, but I don't have an order book I can use right now. I'm working on getting a new one. Frustrated today. Closed two of my positions earlier than original stop loss, then both worked out for pissed. Humorous, fair, fair. I think it's reasonable to be pissed at yourself, right? So can I ask you a question, humorous? Why? Like why did you close them? If you don't mind, like we're here, let's do some live mentoring right now. Let's do some live coaching since this is literally my show. Finally, mine and Dr. V's Market Alchemists, right? You thought you were wrong in your thesis because the price was jerky. Fair. Okay. So did with the incorrection of your thesis, do you have an allotment? Do you actually have like an allotment for how you exit or what conditions you are allowed to exit from? Or at the time of entry that you were there, stop out was the only answer. Have you come up with your catchphrases like Ross did before Ross Garden experience with trading is not typical? Oh, yeah, I don't know. I think your experience with mine should be pretty typical. But I mean, you could say like Thor Young is a very special person, and by special, we mean I was really hoping wearing the tinfoil hat. How come BBT is still advertising my strategies? Because 'Cause they're amazing. You could have a complete day trading system or learn how to make. Do we still have that book over there? I think I put it away. I'm so sorry. That was one of the other things, like, and then I'm gonna come back to, humorous. I wanna come back to you. Anybody what's the name of Andrew's most recent book that he put out? I'm only gonna talk about this, like, 1 time, and then I'll drop it. Maybe 2 times. And I don't care if you go buy it, it's fine. It's called Trade Book: How to Build a Complete Day Trading System. Trade Book: How to Build a Complete Day Trading System. What's my title from 2022? A Complete Day Trading System. I actually so for the record, just to make a joke, my grandmother, used to say to me, "Never attribute to malice what you can attribute to stupidity." Right? So for me, I just my assumption is Andrew is just so completely unaware of things around him that he thought of the title and said, "Man, this sounds really cool," and literally did not remember that that's what my title is. Right? Like I really don't take it as a personal slight other than him just being that unaware, right? And if it was a slight, then fine. He can have at it. I don't mind. I'm still not that bothered. Right, but still, but I don't actually think he sat down, did that, came up with like a 4D chess. No, no, there wasn't a bad breakup at all, actually. Quite the opposite. I mean, I hope it's not being represented that way over at BBT, right? How, and I know I'm gonna have to talk about this once every so often, right? But how I basically look at it is you have two brothers that were in the same house, right? Both brothers were getting bigger and bigger, right? One brother, eventually we couldn't stay under the same roof. You know what I mean? But it was his house, right? So I had to go make my own house. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I look at that. It wasn't necessarily my decision, but I agree with the decision that was made. So and that's kind of how I'm going with that. Right. So yeah, maybe more like stepbrothers. So yeah, well, I mean, I wish Eamon the best of luck with his book, and hopefully it doesn't sell too many copies. Um, so, um, so let's go. So I always have a clear stop license. Sometimes I exit when I see something at VP, I don't like it. Okay, so humorous. So I would highly recommend defining what that means. I do not like the idea that you are exiting a position because you saw something you did not like, right? Like, that is not a reason to get out. Like, you don't have a we don't have a crystal ball, you know what I mean? You can't feel your way through the market to make good money, right? You have to you have to it's you need confidence in your trading is not gonna come from winning. Confidence in trading is gonna come from having a well-defined entry and exit mechanism that you follow consistently, right? So I reference a lot of my kinfolk here because 'cause I'm country, right? Something my old man used to say, right? Confidence does not come from knowing what will happen. It comes from knowing what you will do based upon what could happen, right? You never know in stock trading what's going to happen, right? It's always going to look a little weird. Something's always going to be a little bit off, right? What can't be off is you, right? You have to really be able to just focus in and dial in and be willing to take the loss. Like worst case scenario, bro. You know what I mean? You lose for the day. It's fine. Like it's okay. You have permission, right? You're at a channel now where there is no longer an expectation that every single trade you're going to take will be perfect. Like I won't be mad at you. You know what I mean? No one here is going to be upset. You shouldn't be upset. If you lose a trade, just lose the trade. Like it's okay. Like I would rather you just lose the trade and then let it go for its target. Like give it the potential that trade deserved and have not even necessarily have confidence in yourself with your analytics. That was obviously right. You know what I mean? But have just let your trade do what it's supposed to do. Then in hindsight, after you're done trading for the day, you can pull your trades up, you can look at the result of those trades, right? And then you can make strategy adjustments, right? No good football coach, right, changes the plays in the middle of the game. That's movie crap. You know what I mean? You're watching The Water Boy or something like that, right? And all of a sudden the guy goes, "Give me the clipboard. Try that." You know what I mean? That's not real life football. You know what I mean? In real life, those guys are they're writing plays for days, for weeks, coming up with ideas. They're studying the opponent's defense. They're creating plays that are supposed to specifically take advantage of that defense. They execute the same way, right? Oh my God, my favorite saying, right? You can only choose one: be right or make money. God, Adams, you know I love that one. Oh, so I will not be coming to BBT meetups from now. That is very correct. I was asked to not be a part of anything related to BBT or Peak Capital, including logging into the chat room that I paid a lifetime membership for. So yeah, I will definitely not be at meetups. But I think I'm going to do my own. What do y'all think about anybody here interested in Dallas in mid-May? I think that would be a lot of fun. Um, so it's yeah, yeah, at user. Um, you know, it's how I'm choosing to look at it. It may not have been that way, right? Do you talk to anyone there? Yeah, of course. I have lots of friends there. I just can't talk to them through the chat. So I'm presenting on the Money Show. I'm doing a master series, right, on trading futures, and I will be presenting at the Money Show. So I believe Dr. V is going to be there. So I'm thinking maybe that I'll get the dates together for tomorrow, and I'll tell everybody the dates. Okay. And we'll and we can talk a little bit about that, and maybe we can get quite a few people to get through, to get through there. So I'll keep you all posted. Beautiful. Because it would just be so much fun. So yeah, so humorous, just to kind of close that out. I just want you to, just give yourself permission, because what happened to you today for me is kind of worse than losing, right? And I think that's what made the change for me, right? We might actually, Helga, Europe would be fun. The Seeing trades, the term is called behavioral slippage. Humorous. The first time I heard it, that term coined was Stephen Goldstein, Alpha Mind. And he said behavioral slippage, and I kind of reorganized it. Behavioral slippage is not the money you lose, it's the money you never make, right? Behavioral slippage is not the money you lose, it's the money you never make, right? So what you're talking about in the moment there is behavioral slippage, right? It's now it's like if at the end of the week your week ends up a little bit red, that those were the trades that were supposed to have made it green. You know what I mean? So, and then what happens is because you don't get those trades, now you're more prone because you've already slipped behaviorally to get out of the trades. Now you're more likely to slip behaviorally to get into new trades. Right? So you can see it's quite the circle, right? Because once your confidence becomes shattered on how you will perform, then everything else kind of hits the fan. So that's what I'm saying for me, for me, it's better just to lose the trades and just be willing to lose, right? Than it is to actually try and manage it, cut the trade early, do all these little things. You're gonna make the most amount of money as a retail trader when you do nothing. Retail trading should be very boring. It should be one trade a day, two trades a day, one trade every 2 days, right? And in the beginning, you'll start off trying to get a high hit rate. Then you'll realize you have a high hit rate without making money. Take this from a guy who went a year green. I went an entire year of my career with having a single red day or a negative P&L day. I also didn't make money, right? I then started going for higher profit ratios, which allowed me to make a lot more money, but it did it at the cost of my hit rate. You can't have both, right? The higher the reward rate, the less likely you are to have a high hit rate. Once you get to the higher reward rate, the final stage is getting rid of trades you should not take at all, right? So it's back to hit rate, but you do it in a different way. Now it's hit rate quality, not hit rate quantity. Right, but that's the progression everyone else in here is gonna need to take, right? You're gonna start off overshooting a little bit, then you're gonna go into holding, then you're gonna kinda have a blend of the both. But it's cyclical, and I'm so excited to help everyone kind of walk through that. Right. So we're gonna do this a lot different, right? I'm telling you right now, if you have anything less than a massive, like at least 50 to $100,000 account, if you have anything less than that, making money partialing equity tickers is never gonna get you to the money you need. People have told you it will. They've been disingenuous. If you could make money that way, I would be making money that way. Right? I within this particular community had to invent an entirely different trading style of my own in order to become profitable. Right? So I think the vast majority of the trading communities out there are just regurgitating Ross Cameron's Warrior Trader, low float stuff, and they're regurgitating it still till this day after a decade into these other markets. So I hope you all have a great one. Come by and hang out with me tomorrow. We'll talk more about this. Bring the questions. It's so much fun. Lots of content coming out. If you have anything you need otherwise, you can always send me an email. Or my favorite way is through Instagram or X at Thor Young MA or at Thor Young on X. Come by. Otherwise, I will see you all right back here tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Much love, everybody. Keep it green. Talk to you soon.